So I'm gonna open up. This past week, at the beginning of the week, it was just a terrible week, and Satan was really trying to mess with me, really trying to get to me, and I've been through all this freedom, and I've gotten all this freedom, and in these couple of days, all these thoughts were trying to attack me. I really started to try to take it upon myself to try to fight off these thoughts, and I was like, I gotta, just not giving it to God, and I had this idea that if I go home and do nothing except pray until I get home and pray until nighttime, that's good for some people, but I was doing it for the wrong reason. Satan was really trying to get to me, and so I had a conversation with my dad, and I was stressing the whole week, and he was really getting on me. He was just beating me down. And when I was talking to my dad, he brought up the verse, where my burden is light, and I really, me and him, I started to ponder on that verse, and it helped me so much because, I had this fear, of failing, right? And and it's okay to not want to fail, but your fear should be in God, not of failing. And with the fear of God, you won't want to fail. But and my dad said something, if you're in one place in the area of flesh, you have to try not to sin. So if you're trying to do it yourself, you have to try as hard as you can not to sin. But in Christ Jesus, you don't sin. It just becomes easier. And his burden's light. It's not something you have to try and stress about and have anxiety over. But in Jesus, it's easy. And his burden is simple and light. And, I kept on praying for all this strength. And I was like, Lord, just give me the strength. And I felt no strength. But that's because I wasn't taking it. I was scared that I wasn't going to get this strength. Does that make sense? I was just scared of me failing and me ruining everything, me ruining the call that He has on my life. I was just these attacks on me. But He said His burden is light. Why am I stressing about what He's called me to do when He says His burden is light? It's simple, and in Him, it's easy. It's not always going to, you're going to have to go through trials and stuff. But you don't have to stress. His burden is light. And that really helped me. So that was just, that was a word that He gave me earlier this week. So,
that's good. That's good.
Bring it all again. Storm surrounding, let it break. At your name, call the sea to stop, the rage in me to stop every way. At your name, Jesus, Jesus. he's born.